What a genius name, the Storied Future, right? I mean, just unpack that for a second and think about this idea of writing your future narrative and then working towards it. And so I think the beauty of this is it's not just communicate today, whatever we're doing today, it's envision your future in a narrative and then let's work towards that. And so I think that's necessary for a fulfilling life, right? I mean, that's what makes us human,
Yeah.
right? That's what makes us human, to be able to envision a future that's different, put it into words, and share it. And so that's the essence.
When we did the interview last year, we had no idea this was coming down the pipe. So when you're coming into that situation and you have to rapidly earn trust, you already have a relationship with the board, but you're continuing to earn trust with them. But then quickly with your executive team, the employees, the florist, what role did that interview play in terms of kind of helping you share your story and earn trust with your stakeholders?
It was interesting. First of all, I'd say credit to you and the team for making me sound really smart and thoughtful in that podcast. I don't know what kind of magic or secret sauce you have, but you really elevated me, elevated my thought process, and it's resulted in an end product that I was, frankly, gave me some tingles, and I was very proud to share. And as I entered the situation with FTD, I was unknown to the broad employee base, 600 people. And there are, a handful of folks, especially in a remote environment, only a handful that you can actually get quality one-on-one time and get to know each other, understand each other's thought process, and build trust in person. And then for the rest, it's very challenging, and especially in a remote environment. So I didn't even think of it at the time, but I'm like, I have this asset, this podcast, which packages me up in a way that's based on my core truth and my approach to business and the way I think and approach things. And it's packaged very professionally. And so we were able to leverage that as an opportunity to introduce myself to the broader employee population.
I appreciate that feedback. I'm also curious, when one of the things over time where I've really started thinking about on the podcast is that, yes, there's a broader audience, but the most important audience for me is the person I'm interviewing. And what's interesting in the research on it is how hearing your own story or telling your story can actually transform you. I'm curious if there was anything through the interview process that came out in terms of kind of shifted how you thought about yourself as a leader or opened up other areas for you to explore.
Well, I'd say there were several things. I think first, Chris, you and I go back a little bit and we have a common history with Amazon and had a great opportunity to work together. But I think even more than that, just generally the nature and style of your questions were really a good catalyst for me to clarify my thinking and to transfer my, more intuitive, embedded approach and thought process into frameworks and language, dare I say, a narrative that we could share with the team members that people could really understand. So it felt a little bit like a combination of interview and psychoanalysis that yielded the essence of Pete in a way that people could understand and digest. You used a couple different techniques. For example, I remember you would refer to things that you've noticed about me based on your experience or based on things we've discussed, and rephrase those back to me and ask for further clarification. And in that process, we got sort of the ground zero on a number of different things. And so as I look back, then I have this body of work, as you said, if take myself as the audience, that I could go listen to. It actually funny, it started with, my first one I sent it to was Mom. She's 92 years old. She's like, well, when your sister comes over, she'll show me how to listen to it because she doesn't know how to use the iPhone. And then she listened to it. She said, that's fantastic. I couldn't believe how great it is. But, Mom's always my biggest fan. So then I shared it with some others. I did get a lot of good feedback. And then I went back and listened again myself. And I'm like, what is it people are seeing in this? And it gave me an opportunity to listen back, sort of reflect on how I was articulating things, and then to begin to double down on those things that were clear. And in cases where I saw things where it's like not as clear, or I've evolved and I've grown, it gives me a starting off point to do what's called the next draft or the next version. So in a sense, it's almost like a baseline of me, my framework, my thought process, my approach to business. And then from that baseline, I can set my intentions. How do I intend to grow? How do I want to evolve? What parts of me didn't come out in that discussion that I'd like to emphasize the next time? Or what parts of me do I think I could improve, and will I set some aspirations or goals to make those improvements so the next time we have this, I have better stories to articulate the next evolution of myself.